up, here we are going. Yeah.
Okay. Let me post it. Is this thing on? Nice.
Okay, tight.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. JD, I've got a confession.
Lay it on me.
I am addicted to drugs. Well, a drug. Specifically, I'm hooked on the jittery jive. I've been sucking down that battery acid. You know, the hot stuff, the Java Joe, the devious decoction. Talking about caffeine, bro.
You're addicted to caffeine?
Yeah, dude. Okay. So yesterday, I had like almost a whole can of Coke. I mean, what was Coke Zero? But still. And then today, I tried to lay down for a nap and bam, headache like you would not believe. Dude, it's just like the good old days. I'm back in college, huddled on the couch, sucking down a soda, wondering if I'll ever be okay again.
Wait, this was just from one can of Coke?
Coke Zero.
Oh, okay. Well, are you okay to record?
I don't know. You tell me. Does this look like I'm okay?
Peterson, it's a podcast. They can't see you. Whatever. Let's just try to get something out.
Woo! Coke Zero!
You just logged into the 3 Coke Gamer Coke. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
Crashing real hard. This is Peterson.
And yeah, we're gonna just take that away from you. We're gonna pour that down the toilet. We're done.
No more Coke. Okay, I need some help, JD. I'm serious. I need some help. Water. This is water. Okay, please don't be concerned. I'm drinking water during the podcast today. I'm gonna back off. I promise. I can quit whenever I want.
Okay, dude. I'm very proud of you.
I'm never ready for this.
Now you know how I felt.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
Alrighty. The news this week, as with all weeks, is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this amazing cookie shop all over the place. You know, I don't think they're open. Is that one open? Do you think that Trent got around to putting the poor Kentucky location on his website or wherever the hell that was?
I don't know. Let's look.
Okie dokie. Nope, it's not on there. These poor guys.
Yeah.
They're never going to get the recognition they deserve.
Dude,
it was a Tennessee location.
I'm telling you, the Tennessee location's going to kill it. Look, I know I pissed off all our Tennessee people last week by calling them fat, but let's look. Just call a spade. Tennessee people.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong, but we know you won't.
Dude, there's a raceway right there. There's a raceway right there, and it's called the Tri-Cities of Tennessee. There's 3 cities that converge on that location. Dude, they're going to make a ton of money. And they're at a strip mall looking thing, like a mall outlet. They're going to make so much money.
Go to the raceway with your box of Crave cookies. You're sitting there eating them. You're having a good time. And then what happens? Car crash. Bam! Right in front of you. Explosion. You stand up. You shout. Your cookies go everywhere. You need 4 more cookies.
It'd make it on the way back.
This business will make money. Crave Cookies has amazing cookies every week, new cookies every week. I'm trying to talk Trent into doing like an elimination challenge where it's just like a constant vote with your dollars. You could see, like, imagine like a house cup type of thing. You could see which cookie's selling the most each week, and then that cookie goes on to the cookie competition later. I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyway, the latest cookie this week.
He should put you in charge of marketing. I'm just saying.
I got all these ideas. I got into Peterson's Coke. So the cookies this week that we've got coming up are the Campfire S'more, the Rockstar, the cinnamon roll Pop Tart, the stuffed cookies and cream. Is that right? Is that this week?
That's
or last
current week. That's current. That's on
this
the
week.
website
So that's
right
what
now.
you guys have got right now. And coming up this next week, Oreo cheesecake, baked butterbeer, salted caramel brownie. I don't know if I've had that or even heard of that one before. Salted caramel brownie.
It's a brookie with salted caramel.
Damn. And then Fluffernutter and Biscoff cheesecake is their cold cookie. Guys, go to cravecookies.com and you can check these out. And you can get your cookie on. The accused Pentagon leaker Jack Teixeira was caught because of his Steam account.
Teixeira.
Teixeira?
Texera.
Guys, let me tell you. It's Teixeira.
I know there's a baseball player with that last name, but I always said it in my head as Teixeira. So
I mean,
don't know.
his last name looks like a Steam username. You know, they just put a bunch of X's and shit in there, and it's just a bunch of can't really pronounce
Is that
it.
That's a capital A at the end? Like what is?
And then a 6'9". So I guess how this worked out is that he had this guy that, if you guys weren't in the news, there's some kid who is apparently 21, but I think they mix those numbers up because he looks a clean 12. Peterson, you got kids around this age. Do you think this could pass? He could pass for like one of Graham's older friends.
If Graham came home and was like, "Hey, meet my new friend Jack Texera," I'd be like, I wouldn't even think twice. I see this picture. He's got a military uniform on. This has to be from
as
the
adult
ROTC.
as he could possibly be looking.
No, and he looks like he
looks like he could be legit pass
14.
for 15. 100% pass for 15.
This
kid
face hasn't seen facial hair ever. A razor has not graced his face his whole life. No way.
Blown the fuck away that this sad loser was so old in real life. 21. Good Lord. That's crazy. So yeah, he had leaked these confidential documents that pertain to intel on the war in Ukraine and U.S. relations with Israel and some other shit.
He was posting them on like a Discord channel.
He was in a Discord group of like 30 dudes that, as these articles pointed out, they just had a common interest in racist memes. What a fun interest group.
Oh, and guns. Don't forget guns.
What like I like the groups that, like, I'm in a group that we talk about like pottery and stuff, or our shared interest in Waterworld and similar movies. But nope, this guy's just like racist memes and guns. Anyway, so he wanted to impress these. He was apparently kind of a leader in the group, you know, because he was one of the older ones.
Yeah, there's a bunch of teenagers. And
there were a bunch of teenagers, and to impress them, he leaked confidential intel. God, dude, if you ever find yourself at any point in your life trying to impress teenagers, pump the fucking brakes, because you fucked up.
We think so many things. You got to rethink so many things.
There is no point in your life where you should be trying to impress teens. They're the
Even
worst.
when you were a teenager,
no,
you shouldn't worry about it.
No,
yeah,
they're a demographic that everyone can just kind of avoid. They have no money. They have like no social standing. Just and they all think they're much cooler than they are.
Yeah, that's true.
So this guy, though, the coolest of the teens, Jack. Say it again.
Teixeira. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Anyway, they found him on Steam because he had this profile on Steam, and the New York Times looked through his Instagram profile where he'd posted photos of his kitchen in the family home, and there were countertops in that kitchen that matched photos on that were where the documents were taken. So it all led back to his Steam account, which is pretty funny. This is also from his profile. They included this in the article, I think, just to cheese on him. So we're going to, pass this along. He had this quote: "Beware the quiet man, for while others speak, he watched, and while others act, he plans, and when they finally rest, he strikes."
Dude.
Serious.
So we're lucky we got him, I guess.
Do you think the teens were impressed by that quote?
Dude, they were super impressed. They were like, "This is deep. Let's look a meme about it."
I got a perfect Pepe for this one.
Hey, I was pretty close. So I was listening to videos
Mhm.
of how to pronounce it. It's a Portuguese last name,
Oh.
Teixeira.
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 Hmm.
No, Teixeira. Teixeira. That's what I would say. Anyway, I got it. I was pretty close. Count
Yeah.
it.
Well, good luck to our babyface, Jack Teixeira. I hope there's teenagers where you're going that you can try to impress. Super Prison.
Oh.
Blizzard has a crisis map of games it can't ship because so many devs have quit.
This is crazy. This one's crazy. I was kind of reading through this story, and it sounds like they're just bleeding people, bleeding talent.
One of the big things that it seems like that's an impetus for a lot of this is forced return to office. It's called RTO. Took me a minute to figure that out.
I didn't know what it was, so I'm glad you
People
said that.
don't like that. Go figure. Especially, in the immediate, like when the pandemic was still kind of tailing out, and they're like, dude, it's just like we're gonna be flexible forever. It's good for everyone. And then things changed.
It didn't necessarily stay like that.
Yeah, the middle manager nation attacked, and everything got different. So that's been a big thing that's been causing a lot of people to leave. But apparently, so many people are leaving that it's just like causing gaping holes in coverage of what they can actually release. One thing that was called out in this article specifically that I'd kind of forgotten about, because as Peterson and I have talked about, it's no longer on our radar, but Overwatch 2 had promised a single player. That was a big part of why that was a full sequel, is it was going to come up with a single player that you could play with your friends. They don't even have an estimate on that anymore. They got nothing. They don't even talk about it. I don't know if that'll ever come out. It's just like, meh.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And like they talked about other Overwatch game modes, and essentially we got the game that they already had. And so
but
yeah,
5-on-5 instead of 6-on-6.
Yeah. So I don't know.
One of the quotes from this was I think it's kind of an anonymous Twitter account, but it is assigned or supposedly posting as a dev inside Blizzard. Quote, "We are creating crisis maps of what we can or cannot ship. That is the loss of capacity we're facing. I literally have a schedule I strike out as people hand in notices." And then, not posting anonymously, Warcraft developer Allison Steele backed this up on Twitter, saying, "Forced RTO has cost us amazing people and will continue to cost us more in the coming months. It is a terrible, short-sighted, self-destructive policy that is only weakening our ability to deliver the kind of game we want to make." So they can't even do their jobs. And she's kind of new. She's only been there for 2 years. She worked on, I think it was Magic the Gathering for 15 years, and she came there and she can't do her job. People can't do their job. People that want to do this are passionate about it. The decisions that they're making are just gutting their team to the point they can't do their jobs. So I would divest in Blizzard if you guys.
So that's my thoughts about return to office, right? I think it's tough because there are industries like the gaming industry where there's a lot of companies out there doing a lot of hiring and doing a lot of layoffs, but they're out there and they've got jobs posted. And if they're posting virtual jobs and you're forcing everyone to come back into the office, that's why they're bleeding people. They've got another option where they don't have to go into the office, right? They've seen what it's like to not go in and they kind of like it. There are businesses where you got to have people come back. I mean, we've got where I work, we're about 50-50. People are pretty flexible still. They can come in, but they got to come in sometimes because they get customer meetings and things like that. And so like it's 50-50, but if you're coding a game, right, you don't necessarily need to be online, and they're saying, nope, everyone back in just because.
And you're not offering them anything else. You're not like,
right.
I'll give you a 10% bump. We'll pay for your commute. We'll pay for your gas.
We get it. You
just
liked
get
it.
back in here, motherfuckers, or you're fired.
They're like, be back in here. You got 2 weeks, get in, figure everything out. And people are like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave and find a job that is going to let me work remote now because there's so many out there.
Yep.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's super short-sighted of them Like they're just looking at other companies who have brought everyone back into the office and they're saying, let's get everyone back in here so we can monitor them or whatever. At some point you just gotta figure out like things have moved on. The industry has moved past that, and you gotta be more flexible. I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot, and I can't feel bad for them.
I'm curious what if Microsoft acquires them, if they'll come in and be able to plug these holes, because I feel like it's gonna be a years of rebuilding, even with Microsoft money.
Yeah.
Twitch workers are freaked out as Amazon cuts their safety and AI budgets.
Why does Amazon need to cut budgets? That's what I keep wondering. You see these things like Amazon doing cuts and cutbacks and layoffs and cutting budgets.
No one needs to, Peterson. They want to.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm kind of at. And like, why would you cut it in areas like this? It feels like they are like when you cut in safety specifically,
Mhm.
and security and things, it seems like you're setting yourself up for potential litigation. It's so
especially
crazy
when
to me.
stories like this run. And so you have this in the public record that you cut 15% of the staff responsible for monitoring illegal or abusive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You just did that across the board.
Gotta cut them. Gotta cut them because
we didn't
we're
want them.
not going to be profitable. You're Amazon. You're making so much money.
You know, we have projected as Amazon 15% less illegal and abusive behavior on our platforms. We think people are just generally been nicer lately. Haven't you guys noticed that? It just seemed like everyone's been less on edge.
You think so? I think America, as a society, we've really turned a corner.
Feels like we're healing. You know, like right after 9/11 when we were like, oh yeah, we all love each other. Except for if you look even remotely Middle Eastern. Yeah, other than that, we were like, yeah, we're gung-ho. It's like that. No.
If illegal stuff happens on our platform, why are we responsible for this?
Yeah,
this isn't on us.
Completely also folded a new team that had been monitoring the ethics of its AI effort. Just toss that out there. We can watch a James Cameron movie and get the fucking gist.
They love cutting ethics stuff. Have you noticed that? We've reported on that like 3 or 4 times now. Like companies cutting their ethics department.
That's the first thing to fucking go, dude. QA and ethics. The product shouldn't work, and it sure as shit shouldn't be ethical.
Wait, we have an ethics group still? Oh my, dude, that was
Nerds!
So 2019. Let's get these guys out of here.
Go smoke some more pot, you hippies. Twitch also laid off its head of law enforcement, its law enforcement response team, Jessica Marasa. So this is like, if there's like a mass shooting on their platform and the response to it and how they shut it down and what they do and how they inform authorities. So the person that put together all of that, like they fired her. She apparently wasn't doing enough work. So the next time, like I think it was the Christchurch shooter in was that in New Zealand? I'm pretty sure that was streamed on Twitch.
They were streaming it somewhere. I can't remember where, but
I swear it was on Twitch, but they have had mass shooters on Twitch, and this is like that team, and they're like gone. They just looked at salaries. They didn't look at anything else. They just looked at who was
they're like,
a big salary.
How many times are these actually streamed? You know what? They ran some numbers. They could, if they got rid of this team, it made more fiscal sense to just get rid of these teams and these salaries and benefits than the risk involved. So
they're like, America kind of got used to school shootings just happening regularly, and they stopped really caring about it. So if they start happening regularly on our platforms, do you think maybe people will just kind of stop caring about it the same way? Just get over it? I don't think we need a team for this. I think it'll just kind of work itself out.
Good moves, Amazon. It feels good.
Feels good. An 11-year-old was stabbed by a 27-year-old man after calling the man an NPC. Just want a caveat, the 11-year-old is fine. totally fine, okay at home, healing. Now, while we laugh about this, we won't sound so sick and twisted. This happened in a Dollar Tree in Mill Creek, Washington. The 27-year-old man, Joshua David Pence. I always like when they list the full name, so they
Makes him
sound
sound
like
like a
serial
for real
killer.
serial killer.
Always. So okay, I guess these kids called Pence an NPC, and Pence chased them into a Dollar Tree store with a knife and then stabbed one of them multiple times, injuring his lung and liver. He was hospitalized and now he's home and he's fine.
This is insane, though. Like,
This is so NPC is definitely worse than default.
I guess it's kind of gotten up there. Yeah, NPC.
I'll be careful.
Don't.
These are stabbing words.
It didn't
Them
even seem that
stabbing words,
offensive.
kids.
Like, if a kid called me an NPC, I would think he was the biggest idiot ever. And apparently I should stab him instead. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking the way I'm reacting to things. So
I need to get a knife, apparently.
I
I
don't,
don't
yeah,
even have the first part of this response ready.
that's true. I don't have a belt knife. I don't have
A belt
a
knife.
one of those little what are they
The
called?
switchblade,
No,
butterfly
things
knife.
the things that have the like the pliers on them. It's like the multi tool.
Oh, like
I'm
a
talking
Swiss
about-
Army knife.
Yeah, no, but the multi-tool version, with the handle, and then like you fold it, and half of it's a knife, and you
Oh,
fold it, and it's got
a Leatherman.
the Leatherman. Yeah, I gotta start carrying a Leatherman on my
What
belt.
happens if you murder someone with a Leatherman?
It depends on which end you were using. I think. Were you using the pliers end, or were you using the stab end? I don't
Is
know.
it assault with a deadly weapon or assault with a useful weapon or
Or a
assault with like a
tool?
tool?
Is
Assault
that
with
different?
a multi-tool.
Is there a code for that? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna
If
start
someone
carrying my
threatened me with
Leatherman.
a Leatherman, I just wouldn't know how to take it.
Well, I'm gonna
don't
start
know.
carrying one around because if they call me an NPC,
They're going down, and you better hope I don't pull out the file instead of the knife on accident.
you know why that's offensive to kids, though? Let's be honest, because you've been hearing this lingo a lot, this terminology, where everyone's got main character syndrome.
Right.
They think NPC is super offensive because they think they're the main character, and so
Right.
they're like, "Oh, you're an NPC," and you're like, "I don't even know you.
should
I don't care about you."
All strive to be the NPC whose life is so stable that every day is like solid. Like I can make
you're
it to
fine.
work every day with the same smile on my face, and there's not like some soul crushing middle part.
You're like, someone calls you an NPC. You're like, oh my god, thank you. Oh, you think
man.
so? Are you serious? This is
Like which NPC am I? Am I the guy with like the nice garden, or am I the guy whose dogs you like to pet? Like which one am I?
Yeah.
We should all be so lucky. This fucking clown, he gets all stabby. Motherfucker, he's the NPC that stands outside the Dollar Tree and he just scowls at people.
How dare you call me an NPC? He's the NPC. If you talk to him, he just attacks you.
Yeah.
So
He's like one NPC in
What?
Pokemon. If you cross his gaze, he's coming for you. You
coming
can't
right
escape him. And like in Pokemon, you're an 11-year-old kid who an adult is attacking for some reason. Hey, kid,
an
let's fight.
11-year-old. I stabbed
That
an
is
11-year-old.
Pokemon age. That's the kid.
Oof. I'll give you an NPC.
Here we go. A printing card company worker stole an unfathomable amount of rare Pokemon cards and then got caught trying to sell them. Dude, this is our marquee story. I really should not have buried this. Did you read this? It got
Yes.
more and more intense as it went on, and now it's a
It gets better.
conspiracy.
It's so good.
It ends in a conspiracy, dude. It's so nuts. And I'm on board with that shit. So I'll rewind here a little bit.
Yes. You got to
What
we got to
we
start
had-
at the beginning.
Is that somebody posts this first pops up on kind of the message boards and radars because someone posts a photo in a closed Pokemon World Facebook group. They claim to have gotten this photo from another Pokemon based Facebook group, much smaller. There's this picture of a table full of these insanely rare Pokemon cards stacked like impossibly high.
He's
And
got like
it's-
I'm talking these stacks are like 4 inches high
And I'm not
of
like
cards.
look, I'm not like an expert on these cards. I'm fucking not, but I have opened probably on the order of 1,000 packs of Pokemon cards in my life total. And I know what cards look like coming out of packs. I know what cards look like. These look like they came off the printing press and were handled with gloves and then placed into a box. Like they absolutely do not look like they've been in a pack at all. They are just so sharp. They were recently just cut and then like stacked in this. And it's so wild that this guy. So anyway, so what he does is he this was a worker on the line, and he was stealing what they call hits. That is like these certain cards in packs. So if you guys don't know, if you're not familiar with trading cards, you buy a pack that comes with 10 or 11. It's called a booster, and they have a new set every I don't know, like 2 or 3 months. A new set comes out, and they all have these rare ones in them. And there's there's probably 100 cards per new set, and one out of those is super hyper rare, and you have a crazy low chance of getting it. And so these are called hits. You're trying to get these hits, and this kid was just plucking them off the line, the rare ones, and then putting them aside. And then he took them all, tried to sell them to a Dallas-based company called Trading Card World. TCW then contacted the Pokemon Company, and then Pokemon Company probably just called, I don't know, the cops, who just took them back, recovered them, and arrested the guy. And dude, this is so insane. This kid, I'm assuming is a kid, dumbest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah, I love these guys are always so dumb because they're like, dude,
this is kind of beyond the pale dumb, though,
he
right?
tried to sell to a store stacks of rare cards that nobody's getting.
This is like a guy is working at the U.S. Treasury and somehow gets like a stack of sheets of $100 bills.
I don't know how I got these.
Uncut sheets. Yeah. And it's like an inch high stack. And so it's like a couple $1,000s, and he takes them into a bank.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can you guys take these?" And the bank's like, "Yeah, we can take these," and then call the Secret Service for a sec.
Just wait right there. We just got to cut them for you real fast.
Fucking crazy how stupid this guy easily could have hung on to these. And then I guess sold them on eBay individually for a pretty penny. He could have parsed them out and sold them, in chunks. But then you run into the thing that I always warn all the thieves and criminals listening to this podcast: don't steal yourself a fucking job. This guy stole a job. He tried to unload it. I don't know why you would go to Trading Card World as a fence. I don't think trading card companies are known to want to sell a lot of stolen goods.
Yeah. And honestly,
fucking stolen goods.
These guys, the guys at the shop are going to be like fans, right? They're collectors. Yeah. So like they know something's up.
The number one people that will recognize this shit instantly.
Yeah. So then get into the conspiracy of it, because I love this too.
So you're like, okay, stupid guy steals something value off the line. That's a pretty funny story. But this is where it gets great, is because already before this story came out, 100% before this story came out, collectors were already discussing the fact that the latest set, it's called Fusion Strike, had an abnormally low number of hits. Like very few rare cards were coming out. People were like, I buy the same amount of cards that I always buy, and instead of getting, 10 or so hits, I've gotten 0 in some cases. Like I'm getting no hits at all. These are the people that are buying and opening packs on Twitch and stuff, getting no hits, and they're discussing this. This is a notable fucking thing that they've noticed. And then this comes out. You got to look at this picture. We should post this. I'll post this on our Discord if you guys want to see. You'll have to look at this picture because it's absolutely insane. These stacks, Peterson, what do you say? These stacks are in some cases probably 4 inches high.
Yeah, seriously. And there's lots.
I'm looking
at
one same card, 3 4-inch stacks. So if I'm talking a deck, if I'm thinking a deck of cards, I'm talking that this is 4 decks of cards. So that's 200 times 3, This is 600 of the same hit. 600 of the same rare card that he's pulled out. And this is just a and you can look in this picture, there's so many of these cards, and they're just in the background. And this kid must have stolen, I don't know, dude. What is your estimate here? There's 10,000?
It feels like he stole
tens
all
of
of them.
thousands.
It
All
seems
of
like
them.
he stole every single one. Because like if you look,
Not
if you scroll
subtle.
down in the article, look at the expanded picture.
Uh-huh.
And
Huge.
and dude, it's all over the place. I mean, he has stacks on stacks on stacks. If you look at that white box, it's lined up. Same thing. It's got these foil cards. He's got stacks by him. I mean, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There's at least 30 stacks of foil, shiny, rare hit cards in front of him. And some of the stacks, like JD is saying, are 4 inches high. And I don't, by some, I mean probably at least half.
Most.
And
Yeah.
so, like
Tens
it looks
of thousands of cards.
He
If he
stole
had
every
stolen
single
only
one.
1% of this amount of cards, I know from having spent a lot of time buying Pokemon cards on like specific cards when we were playing a lot when we were younger. A lot of these probably are around $100. And so if he'd stolen even 1% of the cards that you're seeing here, we're talking $10,000.
And honestly, he probably could
just
have
selling
gotten away
them on
with that.
eBay.
He could get away with that.
And you know, of all the things when I say, and I advise you guys not to sell a job or steal a job, if you're gonna steal a job, steal Pokemon cards. Because honestly, you just put them in a fucking envelope, in a bubble mailer or something. It's so easy to send these off. It's not like you're like wrapping things up and packaging them. Nope, bubble mailers, they're off, they're good to go. So this guy easily could have made it tens of thousands. But the fact that he goes for this huge haul to Trading Card World, and he's trying to unload these, like
he's trying to unload them by the fistful.
Dude, this is like Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11 steals all the money, but instead he steals a bunch of chips and then he takes them straight to the cash out.
He just hauls
lady.
a cart over. He's pushing a cart over to the
Takes it
cash
from
out
the
lady.
elevator to the cash gate, and he's like, "Hey, I need to cash in these chips."
They're like, "Oh, those were just reported stolen." He's like, "That's a different one. That was not these."
That's impossible because I just earned these.
I just
legally.
won all these. Like, we have cameras everywhere. It's the same thing. Like, that we have the internet. Like, you can't sell all of these. And if he did, okay, let's pretend he did. Let's pretend this company that he goes to is like, yeah, dude, we're gonna buy these. All of a sudden, every single one of these shiny hits is coming out of this one Dallas-based store.
That's what I'm saying. They knew that they would get hit. They knew they had to go to the Pokemon Company because they're like, we would get caught tomorrow.
Yeah, like we're not going down for this.
If he had showed up to this store with 40 of these hits, I bet they would have taken him under the table.
If he showed
they
up
would have lowballed him.
They still would have risen eyebrows. They'd have been like,
"Yeah,
how did you get all of those?" He's like, "No, dude, I buy a lot of packs from a different Dallas store in Dallas."
Right, and that's 40. We're talking 40. This guy probably has 4,000, if not more. No,
I think it's
40,
more.
000.
I think it's more.
Like 40,000.
It's so many guys. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this guy's got to get a Blurstein nom somewhere.
The Pokemon Company came out and said we can confirm that Sword and Shield booster packs. That was part of the larger. That's all of the sets are under Sword and Shield. So they said Sword and Shield booster packs and products were shipped to retail as intended, and we have no indication that the integrity of the products were impacted by any confirmed or unconfirmed theft. So they are saying no, that didn't affect it at all. People in the community are like, this is absolutely why their hit rate was so shitty on this.
Yes.
Dude, they got fucked by everyone got fucked. The Pokemon card company got fucked. The fans got fucked.
The fans, everyone, this is where the conspiracy comes in, right? No one's getting hits because this dude is stealing all the cards off of the line before they make it into a pack. So good. So good.
Dude, this is an instant Blurstein nom. This is up there. This is going to be up there on Blur's decision. I don't know. It's a top. It's an all-timer. Um, all right, and then we've got some news nibbles. Ooh, a nibble of news.
I don't know if that's gonna be. We're
We're
working
gonna
on
call
it.
them news nibbles because you got to get a little, just a nibble.
Just a little
I just want a
nibby.
nibble of news. Just a nibble. The first nibble is that the Crank Game Boy Play Date. Remember that thing, that yellow Game Boy looking thing that had a crank arm instead of like other inputs? That thing hit its sales target twice in its first year. Last year, it launched last April. They thought they were going to sell 20,000. They've sold 53,000.
We
Dude.
talked about this in like on episode 100 something,
Yeah.
111 or
112.
112.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was years and years ago that we talked about this. And I remember actually when JD put this on the dock, I was like, oh, this thing is for reals going. I thought like it just kind of fizzled out. No, it's like a Game Boy looking thing with a crank on the side. You fold it out and you like, there's games where you're like turning a crank
to walk forwards or backwards, for example, or to
Yeah.
do other things in the games. Like, it just gives a unique input to the game developers.
I think we are pretty short on crank based inputs in video games. So
crank-based inputs in general. $200 gets you this thing. There's 24 games so far. They've shipped about half of those 53,000 units that they've sold so far. It's called Playdate, all one word.
I don't want to buy one, but I do want to play one.
That's exactly what I feel. If this was 150, I'd feel different. But $200, you got to be pretty into weird shit. Next is Sega. You know, Sega of Sonic fame has acquired Angry Birds. They're buying Rovio, the developer and owner of Angry Birds and a couple other mobile games, for $775 million. Cool, $750 million of a bill. Both companies have been referring to it as a, quote, friendly takeover. This is just Sega trying to solidify their position in the mobile market. Everyone's trying to do that right now. Maybe we'll see Sonic and Angry Birds. I would play an Angry Birds with Sonic characters, and they're like in their little ball form.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
could
pretty
see that.
basic.
I'd play it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'd play it and then forget about it forever, and then try not to think about like the corporate consolidation of every single video game company in the world. Also, Epic Games has acquired Acquirus. Come on,
they named themselves just like priming people,
asking for it. This is a Brazilian studio that just makes dumper mobile games called Acquirus, and they were acquired, and that's it. That's the news. Acquired by they acquired Acquirus. Say it, Peterson. Say acquired Acquirus.
So it's a Portuguese Brazilian company, so it's Acquirus.
Nope.
They acquired Acquirus.
They acquired Acquirus. Well, they're going to be Epic Games Brazil now, so sucks to suck.
Oh, this me.
Kudos. Kudos. Kudos.
Kudos is our positivity segment. I'd like to give some shout outs. First shout out, Peterson. I guess we'll share this shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Jenna, who's
this is so cool.
Who this week accepted her first major promotion in jiu-jitsu. She earned her blue belt.
Dude, so cool. She's going hard on jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Just loving this. So yeah, jiu-jitsu. Jenna, congrats on your blue belt. Like so cool. It's a big accomplishment to go up a belt, especially in a thing like jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, I'm really stoked for her. I got her a new blue gi. It's like dark blue. It looks very cool with her blue belt.
Well, I told Jenna when she told me this, I said, well, now you got to take your fancy new belt to some more competitions because I want to watch her kicking some butt again. So,
okay, well, then you'll be happy to know she's up to training. She's now training 4 nights a week. So I never see her. And when I do, she's just beat or bruised. I got to get her more t-shirts that say, I got this from jiu-jitsu, not the guy I'm walking in the grocery store with.
Nope. JD,
'Cause-
actually, you should double down on this. You should walk around with your like one fist bald at all times with just like a mad, menacing look on your face.
trucker hat, put some like fucking dip in, and just
Be
like
like,
some spills on the front of my shirt.
dude, just lean into it. If she's gonna show up, if she's gonna train 4 times a week and come home bruised, you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, well, then my only thing is really embarrassing you, making it look like you're in a bad
Except
relationship.
for every day it becomes less believable that I could beat up Jenna.
I know they're like, nah, I don't believe this. She's like all ripped. And she's all like, JD's like walking next to her. His tank top.
next to her,
Not
more
really
like
looking
behind
good.
her. I've taken my natural place on her heel.
Oh my god!
It's safer there, okay? There's less of a threat.
You know, if she leads the way, like I'm okay with that. She's a great leader at this point. So
She's just stronger. So yeah, congrats to Jenna. Keep kicking ass. I'm really excited to give her her next kudos for the next belt. Yeah, and her comp's coming up. The one she's training 4 nights a week for is coming up. So
sick.
and then I have another kudos. A Fudos.
Yes,
A good Fudos. This
love
one
Fudos.
is cool because it's kind of close to the freeway. So if you're in Utah, you can probably get there. This Fudos goes out to Wasatch Pizza. So, little background on this. There was, if I'm not mistaken, when I was a kid, there were a number of Wasatch pizzas, like half a dozen maybe. I knew at least there was one up on Wasatch Boulevard, Wasatch Pizza on Wasatch Boulevard. It was very fitting. And I went there for a couple like post-season banquets, like football banquets or whatever, and had pizza, and it was so good. I remember just loving it. And it was the first place I ever had dessert pizza. It was just good. It was just
love
like
that.
solid kid pizza.
Yeah.
And so I'm in Home Depot tonight with Jenna buying some crap, and we walk into the parking lot, and I see one of those like delivery. What are those things? The triangles they put on their cars. With delivery
Sign.
signs.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So, I saw one of those on a minivan, and it said Wasatch Pizza, and I'm like, no fucking way, because I thought they all closed. I thought they were all closed, and that they'd closed years ago. And so I was like tripping, and I had Jenna look it up, and she's like, yeah, there's one in Taylorsville. So it's like right off that Redwood exit on 215. And I was like, what? And I was like, that's where we're going to dinner tonight. And so I ordered, it's like a barbecue, it's called Maui Wowie. So it was like a barbecue Hawaiian pizza. And I had them candy it. So they sprinkled some brown sugar on there for me.
What?
Well, they had a candied. Yeah, I just do that standard. No, they had a candied pizza on there, but it was like a meat sweat type of pizza where you're like, okay, that's too much meat. Like even if you were making a sarcastic meat lovers, this is
still
too
too
much. It's like if PETA made a meat lovers pizza for an ad. Like I don't need that much, guys. Yeah, so but it was candied. They're like, oh, it's candied. And I was like, what the fuck? So I ordered this Maui Wow. I was like, can you candy that for me? And she's like, what, you mean like just pour brown sugar on it? I was like, is that what you do for the other one? She's like, yeah. I was like, do it. Regardless of the brown sugar, regardless of everything else, this pizza is dope. The dough is good. The consistency is good. The mouthfeel is good.
There we
It's
go.
a good. I remembered it right. It's a good fucking pizza. I will say, this sounds weird. It's a kid pizza. It's like a pizza you're like, I know it. It feels like a pizza you had when you were a kid. I don't know what else to describe it.
I know. I get it. I know what you're
saying.
saying.
It made me want to dunk it in ranch a little bit. So I
Mhm.
got some ranch out and dunked it. I was like, yeah, that's good. That slaps. It's just kind of a kid pizza. But it's so good. And we're going to go back and get these other ones they have, just standard ones. I remember they had a barbecue chicken pizza that was really good. Just the regular pizzas were good. They had a dessert pizza, obviously, that was amazing. But I feel like this is the last location, and I feel like it's going to close in the next 5 to 10 years like the rest of them. So I'm just here riding the bomb out of the...
get there while you can.
Yeah, I'm I'm it. I'm riding this thing till it dies, and I'm telling you guys, you should all join me, because this may be the last good pizza you eat. Wasatch Pizza. It's in Taylorsville. It's like 2 minutes off the exit. Zip it on and off, and you're home. Oh, it's good. It's good.
All right, I have a kudos. I've had this on my list for a while, and I've kind of been reluctant to give it, and I'll tell you why.
What?
So this is for a comedian named Matt Rife, Rife.
Okay.
And here's the thing: it feels like a comedian that I shouldn't like. He's this young guy, and actually, I'll preface this by I tried watching one of his comedy specials, like on his YouTube page, and like
Mhm.
his comedy itself, his act is not that good. It was not that great. But what's great is he does these shorts, these like YouTube shorts that pop up on my Facebook feed now because I started watching them, of him interacting with the audience, and he kills it. He's this young, douchey looking guy. So
Okay.
douchey looking. I mean, he even has comedy bits about how like how good looking he is, type of thing. But when he is doing his crowd work, something about it just kills me. I think he's so funny, makes me seem like he would be one of those guys that would be hilarious to just hang out with because
Yeah.
he's just
Where do you
real
watch
quick
him?
on his feet. So it comes across on Facebook on his like Facebook shorts. I don't know. These
Okay.
like they'll just pop up and I'm like, oh, there's a Matt Rife one again. And I'll click on it and I think it's funny every time. So it's not it's not the same as other comedy that I've recommended on this, like Nate Bargatze, who's like very clean. He is not like he's really dirty jokes and swearing and all this stuff. Something about his comedy though just gets me every time, and it's specifically his crowd work, just talking to people in the crowd. I think is so funny. So Matt Rife, go to his YouTube page, check out his shorts are where you're gonna want to look instead of like the big long bits, because I watched one and I was like, this really isn't that funny. But yeah, his shorts where he's talking to the crowd, so funny to me. Just a quick kudos for that. Don't
Matt
judge
Rife.
me. Don't judge me for watching this young douchey comedian, Matt Rife, Rife.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The first impression rose. First impression rose. Oh my god. The first impression rose.
Okay. First impression, Rose, is this segment where we've just dabbled with a game.
Just a little bit, like nothing too crazy.
Yeah, just a little quick stop at
We
the
went out
pizza
one
shop.
time. Yeah, we went
We
to
went-
Wasatch Pizza one
We went
night.
to Wasatch Pizza. We grabbed a slice of za.
Went to a Matt Rife show.
I noticed she put like a lot of grape tomatoes on her salad, and I was like, that's an issue we'll deal with later. Yeah, just a
couple
quick
red
date.
flags.
Couple red flags. That's too many tomatoes.
JD's very specific about these little, what are they called? The little baby tomatoes.
Little grape tomatoes.
Yeah.
Wow,
I don't like
eight.
I don't
huh?
like
Fuck.
he's like commenting specifically. He can't stop talking about the tomatoes. I just got to bring up you were really did you really so there's a grape tomato in every bite? Is that what we're talking about? That seems
Are you gonna cut
excessive.
those in half, or are you gonna eat those individually? Do you dip them in ranch? What are you doing? Is it a veggie tray or what?
So like 8 though. 8, you're
So
sure?
Eight seems like a lot. Just seems like a lot of grape tomatoes. So you take this game out, and you see how it orders at Wasatch Pizza. And Peterson recently took a game out called Caliber. Peterson, how did that date go?
Okay, so I played Caliber. Well, we were looking for just some games to play to kind of fill the void. We had a little bit of a game void going on right now. So I was like, hey, this game Caliber just came out on the 12th of April. So it's brand new, free to play. Let's download and play real quick. Maybe I think the other guys maybe liked it more than I did. So Caliber is a first-person shooter. It is a role-based shooter. So we were doing missions where there were 4 of us in a crew. and I took, and everyone takes a role. There's a tank, there's an assault guy, a tanky guy, there's a healer, and there's a sniper. So you're going through and you're doing these missions. So we did a couple. I was the healer. You just do a quick tutorial. It seemed fine. It feels a lot like The Division. In fact, if you just plopped it in front of me and said this was The Division, I would 100% believe you. Even the audio sounded like The Division. Like there'd be like a voice. Well, there'd be a voice telling you, "Oh, we got to get into now you need to go up here, and there's your back," And I was like, this sounds exactly like The Division. So we get in. It feels like Division, plays like Division. It's Division meets CS:GO. And so we get into a match. First, we did a match versus just like a PvE match, where we were just playing doing a mission against the computer, and that was pretty easy. It actually wasn't hard at all. Well, we were matched with a pug, and the pug was level 23, and this was our first round ever. So he was just running through, chucking grenades,
come on,
immediately killing everything. And we're like, well, I don't even know what we're doing yet. Well, how do I heal you guys? It was that bad. So we were like, okay, well, let's try a match versus other people. And this is where it felt like CS:GO. So it was 4-on-4, static map. You die once and you're out, right? Once all 4 people are dead, then the game over. Well, I don't even know if we killed another person. We played 2 or 3 rounds. It was zero fun. So this was I took this game on a date and immediately realized that this was not for me. This was not the game for me. It felt like, if you've ever played CS:GO, my problem with CS:GO, I played it kind of a lot at one point. And my problem from the start was that I was playing people who knew the maps perfectly. I mean, guys were shooting me in the knee and stuff, shooting me up from under doors or cracks, tiny little cracks.
No.
They'd snipe me through it. I'm like, what the freak? How'd I die? I don't even know what happened. That's how this felt, kind of. We get in and we're like, okay, how do I shoot? And then I am dying immediately. We're dead, right? We played this round where this guy with a shotgun just ran through and killed us all so fast. We did nothing. And so it just had that same feel where it was
feels like when you go on a date with a corrector. And
actually,
it's just every single fucking thing you say, and you're trying to bring up and you start to tell a story and they correct you. They say, "Oh, well, I've heard, I read an article or I saw something in the New Yorker about that. Actually, that's like this one. Every time you start to have fun, someone kills you, or someone's just
okay. How do I aim down the sights? Shotgun right next. He's standing next to me. I don't know how he got there. The round just started.
You're like, oh, look at that pit bull. Isn't that a cute dog? He's like, well, actually, you're like, oh, fucking here we go.
Dead. Yeah. So this Caliber, I honestly cannot recommend it. The reviews on Steam are very positive. So 81% of the 5,000 reviews are positive. But it feels
those
like
are all the guys that are shooting you in the knee. They're trying to con the other 20% into playing it.
So listen, this is how I got it. This thumbs up. This guy had 74.8 hours. Thumbs up, 16.5 hours. Thumbs down, 3.9. Thumbs down, 2.8. It's all the people who were thumbs up, 41.5. Right? All these people who
that
are
is so amazing.
Playing tons of it are this game's great. I'm poning noobs all day. Right. And then you hop in, you're like, oh, let's try this new free-to-play game. There's no matchmaking of any kind. It's just
hazing.
Lob.
You have to get through the hazing.
It's so bad. So
not
it
worth get no first impression rose for Caliber.
Oh gosh, not even. Honestly, Jesse came in and was like, here's the first impression rose if you want to hand it out.
And you just threw it on the ground and just
threw it on the ground.
Stomped on it.
You see how this is going. How dare you even bring this up right now? So
I'm just going to stop you right there, Jesse. We're not going to need that tonight. You don't need to leave that on the table. Just take that out of here.
Just take the rose out. I'm not handing it to anyone. In fact, I don't even want to talk about the rose anymore.
So Peterson sends his rose out, and Jesse comes into my date where I am sitting in Wasatch Pizza, and my date has ordered something brilliant. She's ordered
Wait, how many cherry tomatoes did she get?
none. In
Oh,
fact, she ordered
interesting.
a little off menu, but it was like pretty clever. So she tweaked like a Hawaiian pizza. Instead of getting ham, she put bacon on it. I was like,
Like, oh,
and
interesting.
jalapenos. And I was like, damn,
Why did I think of
very
that
interesting.
before?
Very
With
interesting.
some brown
So
sugar on top.
a little brown sugar sprinkled on top. Whoa, hot damn. So I got this game on recommendation from Skylar, who's in our Discord. He reached out to me and was like, dude, have you seen this game? It's like a Dome Keeper ripoff. You guys remember Peterson and I talked about Dome Keeper a couple weeks back. And I was like, no, I haven't seen this. And so I looked at it. It's $5 on Steam. It's called Wall World. And I looked at it for about 2 seconds and bought it immediately. And I was going to put it in the background, but Skylar seriously just kept blowing me up about how good it was. I was like, okay. And so I downloaded it. Absolutely right. Huge hat tip to Skylar for pointing out how amazing this game was and encouraging me to dive in. Wall World is absolutely gets my first impression rose. For me, it's a better version of Dome Keeper in almost every single way.
Oh, that's great. And Dome Keeper was good. Like Dome Keeper was fun.
Yeah, and that is not a ding against Dome Keeper. You guys heard how I just couldn't wait for more content. I was really eager for more stuff to come out on Dome Keeper, and it didn't. And instead, we got a whole new game. This is a different studio entirely. I'll kind of go over some of the. If you guys remember, a brief refresher on Dome Keeper, it was a 2-part game. The one part was mining, and it's a 2D side-scrolling game. And the first part, you go down, and you have a little driller guy, and you can go one of 4 cardinal directions: up, down, left, right. And you can mine these little blocks. Some of them are easier and quicker to mine than others. And in so doing, you unveil materials that you then can bring back up to the top of the mine, where you have your dome. Your dome is where you recover materials and upgrade both your dome and your ability to recover and mine elements within the mine. And then the second part of the game is you take control of your dome's defenses while it's attacked by waves of monsters from the left and the right of the screen. And so, like, if you keep imagining this is a side-scrolling game, it goes down, the view goes down below while you're mining, and then it comes up above ground for the attack while you defend your dome with either a gun or like a sword that extends out from your dome and shoots or swipes or kills these enemies that are descending upon you from all directions, above and left and right. That's Dome Keeper, and it's amazing. Wall World takes that concept and literally turns it on its side. And instead of a dome that's on the top, it is a spider crawler type of robot that descends up and down a wall.
A cliff face.
And it mines into the side of it, and then you go in there and you mine in a similar way. Instead of using like a drill, you use a plasma kind of drill thing, and you mine for materials the same way. You vacuum them up. It's a little bit different. You bring them back to your spider crawler, and then your spider crawler then becomes your defense that is attacked by these creatures that come from the left side of the wall to attack you. It's actually even a simpler concept to describe than Dome Keeper somehow. And a couple of the improvements here that I noticed right off the bat, there were some abilities in Dome Keeper that you had to unlock every single time you started a new game, to the point that it was like pointless. Like the main ability that would show you how long until the next wave of enemies would come.
Yeah.
You had to unlock that every time. This one, it's unlocked by default. You always know how long it's going to be till the wave of enemies comes, which is awesome. There's a lot of other things that are like that, that they've just given you. They just hand it to you instead of making you like unlock it. There's the lore and the world building in this game right off the bat, like the first page, you're like, they start describing it, the wall you live on, and they say they've never reached the top or the bottom of it. And your mind is like, what? It absolutely blew my mind. that type of like world and lore. I never even have heard of that concept. Have you, Peterson? You read a lot more fantasy. You ever heard of like a
No.
wall that everyone just lives on the wall and they don't even know where the bottom or the top? They call it the edge. There's no edge to the wall. That's just it's so
It
crazy.
sounds like the ground and
Mhm.
gravity has switched directions.
Yeah, that's Skylar's theory. My theory is that the planet it's like the side of a planet that was like cleaved clean in two. But they don't that you're still exploring, going, and the lore is unveiled to you slowly. That's another thing that they've got up on Dome Keeper is that you go up and down and penetrate different mines. So in Dome Keeper, it's just the one.
Yeah.
You go down and it would open up and you would just kind of open it. And this
Oh,
one,
like you can move the spider?
yeah, and then
Oh,
you go
cool.
to the second mine and you dig in there and you go and you find stuff. And sometimes it's a bust. Sometimes it's really deep. Sometimes you find a guy. It's like a wizard that's like you find his old notes and he just died in some cave. And there's lots of abilities you can bring back and find in these caves. The gameplay in this it just seems cleaner than Dome Keeper. It's just a little bit tighter. The moving spider adds a ton to the combat. In Dome Keeper, it's a static thing. It almost feels like an old browser-based game, almost like a defense kind of tower defense game. But with this one, you've got the spider moving up and down the wall. You're jumping, you're sliding, you're switching weapons between. Like I had a shotgun at one point. I was switching between that and my machine gun. It's a lot more intense than Dome Keeper was with the spider. And Raw Fury, the guys that produced Dome Keeper and Kingdom 2 Crowns that Jenna and I gushed about, they should have known this. They should have seen this coming because their other games do have kind of more moving defense, more dynamic defenses, and Dome Keeper didn't have that. And then the last thing that I loved so far about this over Dome Keeper is that everything is unlocks something. So because there are so every block you destroy gives you some currency. So in Dome Keeper, you're kind of just digging paths through the mine to find the resources, and you don't really want to waste your time just clearing blocks for no reason. In this one, every block you clear gives you currency, and you can clear a whole mine, like a big open space, and you'd benefit from doing so. And it's not that hard because you can clear stuff a little faster in this. It's just kind of a different, because they move you along faster, the game feels a little quicker, and all of that plays into when you destroy any block, you earn currency, which you can then go after you do a playthrough, because this is a roguelike. Unlike Dome Keeper, where every wave or every new game is the same, in this you can buy things. You can buy upgrades to make your spider stronger. You can buy upgrades to give yourself like a homing missile and like things like that. So there's a lot that you can do in between games that make this game a lot more. I think there's a lot more replayability in it, and I'm really excited. I've only put probably 5-ish hours into it. I don't know. How long have I played this game? Let's see on Steam. Not as much as I should have, but definitely enough. Not as much as I want to.
Enough to where he is actively harassing me about playing the game.
Yeah, because Peterson is taking the Steam reviews over my advice, and he's like,
this is not true. This is not true.
I heard JD loved this game, but I saw a Steam review from Pussy Slayer 42069XX who said,
I follow him. I read all of his reviews.
That's why you get all the sex games.
I don't play any sex games. They just are recommended to me regularly.
I put 4 hours into Wall World, so I've gotten just a couple playthroughs. There's a lot to it. I can see a lot out in front of me that's left, and I don't know necessarily what's coming, but I do know Skylar was hitting me up. He's like, I'm so excited to talk to you more, because I know he plugged like 10 plus hours into it and was just like, there's a lot more. It sounds like there's a lot more coming, and it's not like I've just, because Dome Keeper, you played it like once or twice and you knew what you had the whole gist of it, because I played it all the way through, beat like everything in it, and I got it all the stuff that I got at the very last game I'd pretty much gotten in my second or third game. This one, it's changing every single game. There's more that I'm unlocking, more I'm discovering and finding out and learning. It's deep, and it's so freaking good.
I will play it. I know I'll play it. I've already wish listed it.
It's $5.
Um,
Don't wish list it. Just buy it.
But it's not gonna go up in price, so I'll just wait for it to be on sale for
I
$4.
hope it goes up. I hope it goes up to $50. I hope they
a
just
lot would
got-
have to change. I will give an impromptu to impromptu kudos to Skylar. I feel like he's always recommending just bangers to us.
He knows what we like.
He does, and he plays a lot of games, and so he will hit us up and just be like, "You got to play this game," and every time it's good. So, just kudos to him.
I'm really stoked I saw this. In fact, he beat me to one of my. I like an Axios newsletter that I got that mentioned both Dome Keeper and this game, and it was after I'd played it, and after Skylar hit me up, I was like, "Get with the times, Axios. Slow news." So yeah, check it out. It's Wall World on Steam. It's $5. Definitely gets my first impression rose.
Sounds like
I think
it.
at all, if you like Dome Keeper or if you like Kingdom 2 Crowns or any of these games, Wall World, I will say it's a little more intense. There's a lot going on, but it's absolutely worth it. It's so cool. I think the reason it's a little harder, honestly, not to belabor the point, is because you can upgrade things. It's got more of the rogue light element, or you can buy those upgrades in between the runs. And I think that makes them want to crank up the difficulty. So
Have you played on the Steam Deck?
I have not. I've been playing it with a controller only, so I'm sure it would be
That'd be
great on
fine.
the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I kind of like I will say the one thing I would be hesitant on that is the size of the screen, because when it zooms out to the full battle with the wall, your spider's kind of small and it's kind of hard to see everything because the enemies are teeny tiny, even on my like 32-inch screen here, and I'm 2 feet away from it. The smallest enemies on the screen are the size of like a piece of corn. They're teeny tiny. So I would be a little worried about even being able to spot everything. And some of the smallest enemies can do a ton of damage. But other than that, I'm sure it would run and play very nicely on the Steam Deck. But
Okay.
not sure about that anyways. So, yep, Wall World, check it out.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be responsible for rolling the Dice of Destiny itself, a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. Then that person rolls another 6-sided dice to see how much money they can spend on their chosen game. They find a game in that genre for that price, pick it, play it, review it. And Peterson, a couple weeks back, rolled a sports game for $40. He picked Wrestling Empire, and he's got a review for us.
All right, so Wrestling Empire. First off, this game, came out in 2021, actually. So it's been out for a couple years by a guy named M. Dickey. And
Okay.
if you look at his Steam, he makes a lot of wrestling games.
It's been pigeonholed.
Yeah, and some other stuff. He does have a game called The New Testament, The Second Coming. It looks like a Jesus-based game.
Okay.
But he made Wrestling Empire. The only reason I played this is because it looks funny. The reviews are overwhelmingly positive on Steam, so 95% of the 1,300
Wow.
reviews are positive.
Okay.
So I was like, dude, I'm playing it, and it looks hilarious. The reviews are hilarious. The game looks hilarious. So it doesn't look good. The game looks like an N64 game.
I love it.
So it doesn't look good. So I was like, I'm gonna play it. So I played it. I played the tutorial, and I was like, okay, this is pretty funny. A guy, like I was wrestling the coach. We were practicing, and then he just pulls out a gun. He doesn't shoot me with it. He just starts hitting me with it and
just a
throws
prop.
it at me. This is props, and you can grab anything that's on the ground. Someone threw a bottle in, so I was throwing a bottle at somebody. You can grab a ladder, you can grab all the stuff and just start throwing them and hitting them. I did get so let's see. I started the story mode, and I picked just I just made the goofiest looking character, big fat guy in overalls, so it was pretty funny. And you have to find a partner, so you pick a partner, and you have to, and you like go and ask. It's just kind of clever. Like you go and ask the guys. So you pick a guy you want to be asked to be your partner, and you go up, and there's a whole like little cutscene of you being like, "Hey, want to join me?" And they'll be like, "What? I'm way too good for you," or whatever. So I find
Nice.
this other guy to join me, other goofy looking guy. We join up, right? We've both got killer mullets. We decide to wear the same uniforms. You don't have to, but it's like an option. Like your teammate will come to you and be like, "Hey, I think we'd be a better team if we were wearing the same uniform. What do you think?" Or the same costume. And then you can choose to wear theirs or yours, right? And so so we're both wearing overalls, with no shirt on underneath, of course, doing
Right.
our fights. So doing your fights, the game is very funny. It plays like garbage. I'm gonna be honest. Like the fighting is pretty garbage. There's like a button where you can run. There's like a hit them button, so you punch them and kick them and stuff like that. You can climb out of the ring. You can climb back in the ring. You can climb up in the corner and jump off and hit them. If they're on the ground, your hit will like you can do like a power move, and you can like jump on top of them, like land on them on your butt or your elbow or your stomach or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a grappling move where you grab them, and then depending on what you push, you put them in a different, move. And I will say there's tons of moves. There's tons of moves, tons of customization. When I say tons, I mean like you can pick your song, and there was like 80 songs to choose from. You can pick your like your
Like
taunts,
real songs, or are they just like kind of chip tuney things?
kind of chip tuney.
Okay.
But they're not bad because there is like real music in the game. It's like when the game starts off, it's like a real like hip hop song, It does not match the aesthetic at all, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But and then like you can choose your taunt, and there's again like 80 taunts. There's so many, so much customization, which that's pretty funny. You could make the most ridiculous character. And the other thing is the roster is super deep of just playable characters. Like any famous wrestler is in it, but of course it's not them, it's their
Yeah, it's like fake name or whatever.
yeah, it's the fake version of them. And so that's pretty funny. And you know who it is, right? It's not Hulk Hogan, it's like Harry Rogan or something like that, or
Right.
something, and so you have all these, you have tons of options, old school guys, new characters. He's added a ton into there. Honestly, where the game just really, really lost me was in the gameplay. So I'm doing it, and I do an exhibition match, right? Finally, I'm going to get a fight. So I'm doing this fight. It's going pretty well. However, I could not figure out how to pin him, how to win the fight. And the fight was 15 minutes long, and we're just fighting. The guy's health bar is all the way down to 0. I'm guessing I'm supposed to pin him or something.
Just can't
I
get
couldn't,
it.
and I couldn't remember how to do it from the tutorial. I tried to go to the controls, there was no option for me to view the controls from the fight menu, from like when I was in a fight. So I get to the end of the 15 minutes thinking, okay, I'm going to win because I just beat the crap out of this guy for 15 minutes. It was like, no winner. We got to do it again. Starts over. And I was like,
oh, man.
There is an option to just like have the fight play out. Like, okay, just say who won based on whatever. Just, essentially just if you want to run through the story of it all. Because the story is funny. Like you're trying to make it big, and you're trying to trying to become super famous, and you got to get an agent to work for you, and like all the big wrestlers don't want to work with you because they're like, you're nobody, and they're just talking so much trash. So you're just working your way up, just like any career mode. You can die. You can straight up die in the game.
Right?
In a fight, you can just get killed and die, and it's over. So it's
Okay.
very silly, really funny, very silly. For how stupid the game looks, it's actually pretty complex and smooth. That's the thing. It plays like garbage, but the button presses are very smooth. Is very intuitive, except for figuring out how to pin somebody. I could not figure that out to save my life.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Because I'd put him in a move and it'd be like break, and I'm like, why? Why are we? I got him. Why are we breaking? It didn't he tap? But so yeah, honestly, this game is built for. So then I went back into the reviews. I was like, man, I am just not enjoying the combat of this at all. And so I go into the reviews, and what I kind of parceled out is this game is made for wrestling fans. You have to love wrestling to really love this game, because that's where everyone's enjoyment came from. Just the craziness of, I hear you and Aaron talk about wrestling and just how wacky it is.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to
That's
me.
what this game is. I have never been a part of that, never been into it. And so for me, I was like, blah, this like, come on, at least make the combat more fun. But everyone who loved it was like, this is the best wrestling game I've ever played, because it's just like wrestling. That's how ridiculous it is. It's just like professional wrestling. So I decided I don't recommend this game for anyone who is not a wrestling fan. You won't enjoy this game. If you are a wrestling fan, you would enjoy this game. However, I cannot recommend it for the price of $20. That's how much it costs.
Steep. Yeah.
$20
It's 2
is
years
a lot,
old. 2 years old
and
now.
it looks like an N64 game, right?
Mhm.
Remember, it like doesn't look good, and I think that's on purpose. Like, he wants to have the feel of those games, the wrestling games from the N64 era that were just legendary. Which I played some of those, and those honestly played better than this, I think. And so, I don't recommend it. If you're into wrestling and you find it on a sale and you want to do a career mode, because that's really where it's at, then yeah, pick it up. Absolutely. But if you're not into wrestling, just pass completely.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Because I played it and I was like, man, I cannot get into this. I love how goofy and stupid it is. But man, if I have to do another one of these fights, I'm going to quit, and that was like a big part of it. Is like, you're fighting your way to the top and that sort of thing. And I just could not get into it. So this is Wrestling Empire. If this is your jam, you'll love it. If it's not your jam, like me, you get a refund.
Okay, so that means let me go see if I can wrangle Jenna. I don't know if she's awake. Hold on.
Jenna's awake, we're bringing her in to the Dice of Destiny roll. So
looks like all the lights off are in.
She's hiding. She's hiding.
She's
Jenny.
hiding, and I don't want
Go
to.
shake
We don't
her.
have time for
Hey.
hide and seek.
Hey, Jenna.
Hey,
Wake up! Come on, let's go. You're up.
come on,
We're
babe,
rolling.
Come on, we're gonna include her anyway.
She
We'll just give her
stumbles
one.
in. She
We'll give her a
stumbles in. It's rolled Peterson again. She just why did he wake me up? He just walks out.
Here. Yeah, that's a good point. We shouldn't have even bothered her if she's not going to get rolled. We'll give Jenna the sleepy 6. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. Peterson 4, 5, and Jenna sleepy 6. Oh shit! Hold on. Drop it. That drop dice did come up 6, but we won't count that one. Okay. It's 2, so it's me. Don't even have to
Baby,
wake her up.
finally.
I'll go tell her to go back to bed.
Just go wake
Babe.
her up anyway and let her know
Babe,
it wasn't
shut
her.
up. Shut up. Go back to sleep.
Babe, it wasn't you. I just want to let
Don't
you know
even worry.
it wasn't you.
You didn't roll a 6. All right, so let's see. 1 to 20. What do we get? 13.
Lucky
13's a
13.
building game.
Oh. Okay.
So
That's
building
not a
is
bad
on
roll at all.
deck. Funny is now on the
Uh-oh.
spot.
Jenna got the last funny one, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, building. Okay.
I spent $30. on
All
my
right.
building
Indie
game.
building game. Here we come.
Any indie builder, dude. That's good though. I haven't done a building game in I don't know, like 6 months. I feel like I've rolled that a couple times.
Yeah,
but-
and you like building games. It's just honestly we're in a little bit of a lull when it comes to building games. So I'm interested to see what you find.
Yeah, it's not going to be a survival builder, I'm sure, because there's none of those left. I played every
yeah,
one,
it's rough right now.
every single one. Okay, so let's put. Oh shoot, shoot. JD rolls a builder for $30, and I'll pick that one for next week, and then I'll have a review in a couple weeks. Yeah, that's gonna be good. All right, to play us out, we've got Light My Fire from Toy Story for the Sega Genesis.
There we go.
Mixed it up, little different than Mickey Mania this week. This one, another banger, another one to keep your heart rate up.
Just what I need.
Yeah, you just
At
want it
11:30 at night.
Yeah, just get going, guys, get going.
I'm ready to go. Give me a Coke Zero.
Yeah, another Coke Zero. All right, guys, put your Coke Zero down. I'm JD logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK. All right, let me end this.